Talk Shit Tuesday. Yep.
Talk Shit Tuesday.
Yep.
Yep, and here we are for a bit of free miking. Talk Shit Tuesday is back, and I'm going it alone today just to get another one out because consistency is key in anything like this. So, basically, I had a few things to talk about, and just thoughts basically to bring out into the world, put onto how's that? That's a bit better. Yeah. Put onto recording. So it's just going to be a whole lot of talking, and hopefully some of it's interesting. I have made a firm decision to take some direction in my life that is perhaps not going to yield results quickly. You know, I've decided to study. I've decided to study broadcasting, or podcasting or radio work or whatever it is that allows me to get better at doing this and make it more interesting. So, I look up to the guys who run Mysterious Universe and put out a great show every week, and Joe Rogan's podcast is another favourite, and et cetera, et cetera. And I think that, they're so good at what they do in communicating and having great guests and that sort of thing that it's actually of great worth to a lot of people. I mean, I know I look forward to the next Joe Rogan with an interesting guest, or Mysterious Universe is pretty much always on point with a lot of paranormal stuff and great stories and great guests, and it's really exciting to, there's certain activities in life like maybe driving or doing the dishes where a podcast is just great. So I think, I've got a fair bit of knowledge about the Adelaide music scene in terms of good metal bands and that sort of thing, and just other musings and philosophies and whatnot that I could probably bring to listeners who wish to listen. So, I'm going to hope to make it more consistent every week, or at least every fortnight, even if I don't have a guest. But hopefully next time I'll have a guest. Anyway, one thing that's sort of current, I was chatting to a mate about this documentary of a guy, Jiosi, I think you say it. He paints trains, or did, in Melbourne a while back. A few of you might have seen it. It's pretty interesting because, he's a full-on bogan, but you get the sense that there's some sort of yearning for a better life there as well. And he obviously is an artist, and although he's doing things illegally, it's interesting how, Sean mentioned to me he got a bit of a takeaway from it. It made him think about things a bit more, and it did the same for me. And I was just thinking about expression. And a lot of people who are artistic probably feel like they don't fit in a normal society. So, you've got 9 to 5 work weeks and study, which is a very much theoretical thing. Most of the time, you're basically told to sit down and theorize and go through a lot of paperwork and stuff like that. And I mean, I'll be starting a new job soon, and I know I've got to do all the paperwork, and it's mind-numbing. It's write your name again and your date of birth, and okay, you go through the whole process of starting again in a new job that maybe you don't really feel much passion for, but you need it. And these things can change. These things have a way of working out sometimes and being a worthwhile experience, and you never know where it's going to bring you. It's better off to be out there every day doing something than doing nothing. But I'm mentioning that in regards to study. I mean, a lot of people will go out there and do what they think they have to in order to survive and, continue to have money and have things and have a successful life. But sometimes they won't jump on that thing they really love because they think they don't have time, or they can't, or it's just too far to reach and that sort of thing. And this is something because I love motivational speaking and inspiring people, listening to inspiring people and that sort of thing. So for me, I'm always going after new ways to think about things and new ways to do life, because you can really do it however you want. And it just got me thinking about, a lot of the times when people turn to substance or emotional abuse of friends and family and partners, and just destructive behavior in general. I think it's usually a symptom of their life being not what they want it to be. They're not existing in a way that the deep self wants to exist as. So I think even if you do it once a week, twice a week, when you go for that hobby or that passion, if it's sport or music or whatever, knowledge, everyone's different. If you at least do it consistently, while maintaining that baseline structure of the bills are paid and, I'm not hurting anyone, I'm not using anyone else's resources or money so I guess it's this fine-tuned balance and just being consistent with things is the main thing I'm working on at the moment. So a bit of a rant there. But it is interesting to me how, a lot of people that I'm in my circles, and I definitely don't feel like I fit into the normal societal regime, and, I yell at the TV a lot when there's politics and weirdness and craziness, and I just don't get the craziness of some things, as I'm sure many others don't either. But, I think the answer is not just escapism in terms of games or whatever it is you do to escape, but to kind of use that if you really need it, the escapism, but never get too far into it, and just to be confident with your point of view. We're living in a time when I think progressive ideas and new ways of living and stuff are getting more, it's more normal to see. Even just like the idea of a smartphone or a portable music player, years ago you would have had people going, it's bloody dangerous to walk around with an iPod and blah, 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 and that sort of thing. And now we've integrated it, a lot of us younger generations, I'm not young anymore really, but into our life so that, you can hear enough of the traffic so you can walk around with it and you're not in danger. You learn to multitask in terms of your brain. Like I walk around with music and it helps me focus. I need to get there and I do this and blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, I'm just looking at the stark reality, the dirty city, the grittiness, the frowning people, the drudge, and it's depressing as hell. And I'm like, I can't. With a bit of music, you can go, all right, cool. It's a bit inspiring. It's a bit keeps me going, gets me to where I need to go, and there's a lot of great stuff. You see a lot of great stuff, obviously, when you get out and about, or when you even just on the internet. To be honest, depending on where you go, you can have very interesting experiences. But I think it's just that never lose that curiosity and that drive to just keep challenging yourself and being open to being directed by others that you trust and resonate with and all that shit. Yeah. So, however this turns out, I'm probably not going to edit it a great deal, just to get it out there, put it out there, slap one together. The intro was all, stripped back, which I thought suits the episode. Yeah. I might take a quick break and come back with a bit more. This is a little teaser for what's coming up in September on the 2nd at Enigma Bar, along with Abstract Light and Barrow and Greytomb from Victoria. Some local Aussie metal, some Sonn'ender for you.
Stay
just a taste there of what you can expect if you come along. Should be a good show. I'm confident in all the other bands. They're all awesome. So, yeah, get along down. If this continues and it turns into a more lengthy podcast, I might play one of the other bands. We'll see. So, back to it. Music. I mean, I don't just go out and see metal. I see other types of music. You know, a few mates are in different bands. Malloy's a great band. That's sort of post-rock, I guess you could say. Fleur Green and the Keepers, another good one. And, yeah, they're going to be recording soon, which is fantastic news. And, yeah, there's heaps of good stuff out there. I mean, you know, if you have a yearning for live music, there's never a shortage of things to see. Last night, me and Rita went out to see some comedy at the Crown and Anchor Hotel, which was great. You know, some of it was great, some of it was average, but it's just my opinion, you know. Still a good night. And, yeah, happy hour at 9 o'clock wasn't a bad thing either. So, that was free show and then cheaper drinks, so pretty good deal. And, yeah, so it's good. I mean, it's interesting if you dig hard enough, there are things to do most nights of the week. It's not always going to be exactly what you want, but chances are you'll get something out of it. And speaking of comedy, I am working on another 5-minute slot. I've done Rhino Room 3 times with mixed results, but a couple of big laughs in there for a couple of the jokes. So it's actually kind of funny. The last time I went up there, I was so intent on getting the set right that I was basically delivering it to the wall to the right of me rather than the crowd. And the MC came up after and sort of mentioned that. He said, I don't know if there's a crowd in that wall that we can't see, but we're over here, mate, sort of thing. And I thought, fuck, didn't even know. So I guess what I learned from that is, you know, sometimes you got to loosen up, relax a bit, and have fun with something, which, as long as you've rehearsed, is something you can do. Never go in underprepared. Unless you feel adventurous. But yeah, consistency in doing things. I reckon that's my motto right now. Just got to keep on trying, keep on doing it. Even if, I mean, this isn't a great podcast, let's be honest. So far, I've just talked about a fair bit of random stuff. But, you know, if I had a guest, we could structure it better. If I had some questions for said guest. I mean, I've thought it'd be great to interview, like, people who've travelled, do a bit of a travel show. You know, the first one of these we did was about games, which is a bit niche. Not everyone's into games, you know. Most people have travelled, you know, even if it's just down the shops. You see things, you see birds on the way. You know, I saw some things on the way to the bakery today that I wouldn't have seen if I stayed in here. And, you know, I didn't see any new species of birds or anything, but, you know, you see a bird doing something you might not have seen it done before, like, you know, getting its beak and making it sharp on a piece of bark or something like that. Don't know if that's actually why they do it, but, you know, you see stuff is what I'm getting at. You go out, you see stuff. It's good. And, yeah, reading a couple of books at the moment, sort of on and off. Just, you know, the old flick it open to whatever page, and if there's some wisdom there, then, like, you know, drink it in like a sponge, get the brain all fucking dry and get it ready to absorb. There's one called Human Universe, Brian Cox. That's one Rita picked up in an airport somewhere. And I'm looking at Happier Than God, which is a Neil Donald Walsh book, and Proof of Heaven, which is a guy who claims to have seen all this crazy, awesome stuff when he went into a coma for ages when bacteria was eating his brain. And, yeah, a couple of fantasy novels in there for good measure, but mostly audiobooks, to be honest, because if you're ever having trouble sleeping and you chuck on an audiobook and you just listen to a story, it's awesome because, you know, if you really get into the story, you get into that almost hypnagogic state where you're not asleep, you're not awake, but you could choose either. You could go, oh, I'll go to sleep now, or I'll keep listening. So you're in bed, you're relaxed, you got your eyes closed, it's completely dark, but you have something for your brain to do. If you're like me and your brain just keeps going and going and going. I mean, I envy people who say, oh, just like, you want to go to bed, you just go to bed. You just go in, turn the light off, and stop thinking. It's not that hard sometimes depending on what's been going on. But, yeah, I mean, there's ways to do anything. You can always go to the hospital and say, put me in a fucking coma for 24 hours. I need some rest. Not that they're just going to do that. I mean, that would be pretty hectic if you could just walk into the emergency room. Coma! Fucking need it. I've been up for 2 years. So, yeah, I'm thinking about going pretty Aussie with my next set, because it's what comes naturally. Like, if I drink a bit and my mates are around and, you know, we're having a chat, we go fairly bogan. It's pretty fun. But I don't know how far I want to take that, because there's different characters in me that go to different levels, you know? Like, some of the jokes end up being pretty offensive, and, like, I can, like, you know, take it to that level in my own brain and usually around the right people, but I've probably going to offend some people. So, I mean, which is always fun. I mean, that's what part of comedy is. You're putting it out there and you're trying to get to the funny, whatever that is, which is why some people take it too far sometimes with, you know, stepping on toes or whatever, which is a concern to a degree, but at the same time, you're in a comedy show, you're in the audience, you're part of the show usually. If you're getting ripped on, just allow it. If it's getting laughs, if someone's just yelling at you, "You are a cunt, I hate you, dickhead," and no one finds it funny, then that's a bit different. But still good not to give into that stuff. Just to have a reset and go, all right, you know, it's just words. Someone is spewing sound at me from a hole in their head, and for whatever reason they're doing that, that's up to them. But I can choose to, you know, take it in and feel it or not. And I get bored with a lot of people. I get bored with a lot of negativity and people who, you know, are obviously on stage working through something, you know, internally, and they're just, I don't know why I'm here, but I need to talk, and love me more, my old. It's like, well, get some funny stuff, and there should be like stand-up comedy, and then there should be a night of just complain show, where you get up and say, this is all that's wrong with my life, and I'm sick of it, and I hate where I'm living, and me job's shit, and me missus sucks, and fucking hell. If that's the way your life is, then I guess a complain show fits you better than a comedy show. But maybe I'm just being too cynical. Who knows? Who knows? Everyone's human. You know, we're all in this together and all that shit. So, yeah. Due to non-planning, I'm kind of running out of shit to talk about. But what I will do is I'll spin another track. Hopefully they don't mind. You know, this is something that is publicly available. And, yeah, we'll see how we go. If they, you know, if they decide it's alright, then that's good. If they have a go at me, then, well, look out. I've got no money. You can't sue me for anything. I mean, I can give you probably, you know, the thing of most worth I've got is a bunch of beer bottles that you can take to the recycling depot. You might get $6. But, yeah, anyway. Let's do that. See, I don't even know what it's going to be yet, because I'm going to do it, then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to edit my voice in to say, oh, you know, we're going to listen to this now, blah, 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 blah. But it's going to be something good, because the show coming up it's a good show. It's going to be a good show. I can envision it. I've got the vision in my future. Unless any of us die, it's going to be a good show. So, yeah. Hopefully see some of you there. Hopefully some new faces, people who aren't necessarily in the metal scene. Because if any gig, I would recommend this one as a bit of a good one to kind of warm up on. You know, some clean vocals in there, some interesting stuff. It's not all doom and gloom and anger and hate, as some people seem to think. Oh, what's going on out there? I'm hearing noises. Just going to peek out the window. Oh, it's just the neighbour leaving. I've had some parking woes here recently. Well, not so much woes, but the situation is we've got a little bit of space, because everyone's got their garage. Our garage is actually falling in at the moment. I mentioned that probably last time. And we've had a structural engineer around who hasn't sent us the report, so we don't actually know if it's safe or not to go out on the balcony that's above it, that we also have access to. But anyway, I try to keep out of there. My drums are in there, I practice in there and stuff, but, you know, I try to keep my car out of there because I don't want to hit the wall by accident if I'm, and then the whole place come down on me or something like that. But anyway, there's a spot where you can park and everyone can still get in their garages down just under my window. And there's someone who parks there all the time because they've been living here. I think they might own their unit, I don't know. But you're not really supposed to park there, but you can get away with it. Now, it was empty at one point, and it was raining, like coming down. I mean, anyone who's in Adelaide knows it's just been non-stop rain. And I had a lot of shopping, and the shopping was wet because we got it from the shops, obviously, when it was raining, hence the wet. And so I parked there. I just thought, fuck it, I want to get this stuff in the house. And then it was coming down. I didn't want to go back outside, so I just left my car there. And the person who normally parks there, I saw them. I mean, I was having a few beers, and I saw them come down the driveway and sort of stop, and the lights were on. It was pouring down with rain, and they just stopped. And I was looking out the window, and because I'd had a few beers, I wasn't really the most inconspicuous. So the light was on, and I was looking out the window above the balcony. So she probably saw me standing there, and I sort of raised my beer. Yeah, cool. What's going to happen here? Sort of thing. Am I going to get told off, or is she going to park on the street like I do most days, and then walk in the rain? Fair enough, whatever. So she sat there for ages, then drove forward, and then drove back, then drove forward, then reversed, and just sort of fucked around for a while. And I'm assuming when she stopped, because she was there, and she just stopped and was sitting there for ages, maybe she thought I was going to come down and be like, oh, sorry, love, I'm in your park, whatever. But I didn't. I'm assuming she just got on the phone. Oh, you'll never believe. I get home after a hard day's work, and there's some fucker in my car park, and I reckon I fucking saw him in the window just then. So she's parking there now. That's cool. I'm probably not going to do that again. But I just thought, we're all equal. We've all got to share. And, a bit of a story for you. So, without further ado, this is some unreleased and exclusive In the Burial, local Adelaide metal. And again, you can catch these guys, among others, 2nd of September at Enigma Bar.
You walk through fire to overcome laziness. Dreamt up a fool's paradise, opposing darkness. Stars light up night, clouds dim day. Seasons pass, tasting your rich shade.
there you have it. New in the Burial. First time that's been put out there. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I can't wait to sink a few cold ones and watch those guys play, and maybe have a bit of a bang, a bit of a head bang. Very good stuff. It's actually interesting at the moment. I'm chatting to Benny from Abstract the Light, and we're just discussing how cool it would be to put together like a bit of a actual promo podcast for the gig and all that sort of thing. I mean, this is kind of like embryonic stage of what that might be, but I guess it's turned into that, so I'm going to go with it. It's all good. I've got some stuff lined up from his band, Abstract the Light, as I mentioned, to whet your appetite a bit on. Just snippets for this one, and hopefully if all goes well and we can get a few of the members of some of the bands playing in September together, we can play full songs, maybe some new stuff, and have a bit of a chat, make a afternoon of it or something. So that's exciting. It's exciting for me, considering what I was talking about before and wanting to do more podcasting and study broadcasting, all that sort of thing. You just got to put yourself out there, and everything will just line up, eventually or quickly, depending on what happens. But it does tend to happen, I think, when you're doing something you really want to, that you're feeling and you believe in, and you effortlessly want to do it. I mean, my goal is to wake up, regardless of what kind of job I get eventually, I want to wake up wanting to do it. I want to wake up wanting to do things, whatever it is, job, life, things, and just be like, all right, I'm super keen on living every day. So that's the goal, and I think something like this would bring more of that feeling. I mean, let's hope it doesn't mean I sleep less, because I'm just like, fucking yes, podcasting is sick. But no, I think it'll be something. And if you wear yourself out too in a day, you sleep well regardless. If you think if you accomplish stuff, you can rest easy, as it were. So that's exciting. Yeah, cool. What am I going to talk about? Shit. Yeah, just before I spin a bit of Abstract the Light, this band is one of the few that comes along every now and again that sort of is doing something legitimately different to what I've heard before. Like, they've got powerhouse drummer Brody and Benny, obviously of Quasar fame in the past, and not too sure of the other members because I haven't met them, but or had a chat to them. But they're really all very good musicians, and a few guest spots from Mel on there as well. She's the same vocalist from In the Burial, for those of you who don't know. And really, really interesting stuff going on in that band. Like just the way it can go from legitimate, heavy, awesome, like Dimmu Borgir level, awesome, fucking complex black metal sounds to, kind of Ulver sounding, I don't know, just nice forest music with like a flute or something that Benny has, which is pretty sick. Hopefully he can tell me more about that when we have a chat to him, which we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to do all that, so that should be fun. Hopefully the quality can be good, because I know this is, one mic equals you can hear me. I've got a better mic. I haven't tested it, but it is one of the phantom powered dooflickies, so hopefully we can just put that in the middle and everyone can be heard, and it sort of figures its levels out. That'll be sick. But either way, it should be fun. And without further ado, this is some
Abstract the Light.
That's my
we're going to leave it there for this one. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will have another show fairly soon, hopefully, with some more members of the bands. Until then, enjoy whatever it is you're doing, and